What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Hunter podcast. This is episode 52 with Jamin Davis. So Jamin Davis and I, we got back from a spring bear hunt a couple weeks ago, and we were with Riley Seaholzer. I just did a podcast with Riley 2 weeks ago too, and so we recap Jamin's side of the bear hunt, the two bears that he killed, and we tell the story about that. If you saw my story on Instagram and Facebook a couple days ago, you saw that I did like a Q&A for anyone who had questions about the hunting and content in the industry. And so at the end of the episode, we go through a couple questions that were asked that I thought actually related good with Jamin and what he does. So stick around for that Q&A, and we just kind of talk about that bear hunt. We go through kind of some of the plans for this year that me and Jamin have, and then we talk about that Q&A. So thanks you guys for watching. As always, check out my merch and the Bino visors on the Creative Hunter Media store, creativehuntermedia.com. And if you use the code podcast15, you'll get 15% off any order online. And then if you have any questions about gear or about things I use, there's a bunch of links down in the description that go through a bunch of the gear I use, and you can get discounts on stuff down there as well. So thanks you guys for watching. Let's get in this episode with Jamin Davis.
I think this year was pretty chill on the bear hunt. It was good, but it was definitely a little relaxed, which was nice.
Yeah. Is it weird being back now? Because it was like I feel like when we were there, it was like we were like in it every day, and now it's like, dude, did that like happened? Like, what the heck?
Yeah. I feel that's how I agree. Um, leading up to the bear hunt, I was pretty busy with just, editing and then also with the volunteer stuff. And since being back, it's been like nonstop. It was like I got back home on Thursday. I had a rehearsal for a wedding on Friday, a wedding on Saturday, and then it was right into volunteer stuff and editing, and like it hasn't slowed down at all. So it feels like it was a year ago and last week all in the same time.
I know. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I'm excited to get the film edited and released and stuff. And I've already actually worked on the first day, which was an eventful day. I've pretty much got that wrapped up, but there's
Nice.
a lot more of the film to edit. So, um, let's talk about it, dude. So we hiked in there day one, and we got up on the glassing knob, started glassing. I want to hear just like go through that day with me and kind of how it went for you.
Yeah. So um, that was like super chill morning. We got out there, we kind of hung around, packed everything up. I think it was around like noon when we got up, kind of started really moving. And by 2 o'clock, we had a bear spotted. Just we were just like chilling, basically, just hanging out, and spotted the bear. And it wasn't like a big bear, but it was a bear. And that was the second bear of the day, the one I ended up shooting. And we were like, do we want to take a look at it? Do we want to maybe hang out here longer? So we did. We hung out for a couple hours, stayed there for almost 3 more hours, and then we're like, yeah, no other bears. Let's move, go take a look, see what we can find. And when we moved closer, we had to go a little bit farther, I think, than we were both expecting to have to go to get within
Oh yeah.
range of that bear, um, which is fine. But we ended up going like probably close to 2 miles. It was at least a mile and a half to get to where we ended up shooting, if not a little more. And so get over there, take a look at the bear. And I mean, we went all that way. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot the bear. Um, it wasn't a big bear, and that's fine. We had a lot of tags to fill, and was the first day, so no reason really to pass up a good opportunity. And I was happy to shoot that bear. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, we lined up and 400 and was it 430 yards?
Yeah. I think that's
Yes,
what it was. And
something right in there.
we had the big lens set up, so the 1:500. So we
Mhm.
got like awesome footage of the bear,
Yeah.
and the shot and everything. And then we had a camera set up on you while you're
Mhm.
shooting. Um, and it was sweet, and it was in like a gnarly canyon.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty rough. And, just because of the way that the terrain is, it's just so rough. We had to move multiple times for me to feel comfortable to take that shot.
Yeah,
And I mean, we set up like 6 different times, moving cameras around all over the place. I mean, you were all over with because you were running both of them at that time. You had the
hmm
big lens and your camera, trying to get both angles. And yeah, that was I'm not going to say it was tense because we had all the time we needed. Um, the bear wasn't really going anywhere, but there was a lot of footwork involved in getting a good spot where we could not only get a shot, but also get everything we needed to on the cameras. So,
for sure.
um,
Yeah,
but up to that point, filming, it was, I mean, we filmed a lot of stuff just that first day. Um, that honestly, like, we had so much footage just from that first day. Um, I mean, it's probably like 5 minutes worth of final footage, but I think I have at least 45 minutes of footage just from Monday.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah, that was, I think I'm still trying to decide whether the second bear or that first bear was in steeper terrain, but doesn't, the first bear on Monday there, it was just gnarly steep stuff. I mean,
yeah,
we were packing out of there. I was feeling it. Last year I had drove out and I had already done a bear hunt before we went, so I was already adjusted. This hunt, it was airplane straight to your place next morning in the mountains. So pretty much no time to change elevation and get used to it. And it hit me a little bit on that uphill climb. I was feeling it. But
yeah. It was. I mean, dude, me too. It's always like the first one of the year is always pretty wild because it's just you get thrown right into the steep, gnarly stuff,
mhm,
and you can train for it, but it's still tough, and it's fun. Um, and we put on a freaking ton of miles on this last trip. I mean, we do every year, but this year is like just like last year, we probably averaged like 10 to 12 miles a day. Like,
yeah,
and it's not like we're like planning on that every day. It just ends up happening,
yeah.
which is crazy. But
I mean, that first day we did 8 miles, I think it was, somewhere in there.
at least, yeah,
Yeah, it
I
was
think
eight.
it's about that.
We did over 8 miles, and we were, as a crow flies, less than 3 miles from camp the
Yeah,
whole time.
yep, we were. Yep. Just like had to go through the gnarly to get back. It was not a ton of miles, but it was hard miles. But
Yeah,
it was fun.
yeah, and over half of it was with a bear.
Yep. True. Yep. Um it was what real quick and then we'll move on to some other days, but like where you shot your bear, that canyon, it's like it's too gnarly to go down the bottom. There's too many cliffs. There's a river running down the bottom. So we had to hike up to the top and then down the ridge because
Mhm.
it's too steep. Like it sucks to side hill. You can't go out the bottom. It would suck too bad, especially in the dark. So we just had to suck it up and like go up and hop on the ridge and then bomb down because it was the safest way, even though it was a little tougher, but it was the better way to go, just because of the situation that we were in there. So
Yeah, yeah, and we would have been fighting through. Not that it would have been thick, with like trees and all that kind of stuff, but through the burn would have been pretty dangerous because, that had just burned last year. So we're at night, loose dirt, rock, a lot of timber that has fallen down fresh. So it's not, it could roll, move, whatever. And it was, by the time we got out of there, it was 1:30 in the morning. So yeah, it was, we definitely had to make some wise decisions to get out of there safely, for sure.
Yeah,
And uphill, I mean, that was grueling climb up.
I know it sucked.
It was, by the time we got to the top, my legs were burning, but yeah, that was the right way to go for sure.
Yeah. So we got out. We bummed around for a day or two. Riley killed his bear on day 2, and we ran up there to kind of help him and kind of just hunt up there because I mean, it was an area that has a lot of bears. So, um, so we'll kind of start for this next part, like when you spotted that other bear, because that day we spotted a few bears on that day.
Yeah.
We got up there. We were 10 miles back from the main trail, or from the trailhead at least, and had camp back there. And this was probably like day 4, or was it day 5? I think it's day 4.
Well, so day 3 is when we spotted the bear.
Mm-hmm.
So spotted the bear
Yep.
day 3. We went after the bear with the bow.
Yep.
Day 3. You shot your bear day 3 in the evening on the way out.
Yep. It was day 4.
Was it day 4? Okay, so day 4, you shot your bear. Day 5, we booked it out of there, brought all the meat out.
Yep.
We knew that there was a bear still back in there, at least one bear, the one that I had spotted across the river.
Yeah.
So day 6, you guys went and got this meat stashed, and I went and bombed around down past where I shot my bear the first day, where we had spotted those 2 bears, and I think I did 6 miles just I didn't do a track, but just like check in with line distance on Onyx. It came out to somewhere around 6 miles, so probably a little more than that. No bears. Day 7. So now this is. Are we missing a day in here?
No, I think that
We're gonna track.
we ended up. I think it was day 7. We hiked in.
Yeah. Day 7, we hiked all the way back. We did like 14 miles to get all the way back there.
It was a long ways. Yeah, and we didn't see a single bear that day.
Nope. Yeah, and
Nothing.
we glassed for that bear that I had found previously.
Mm-hmm.
That whole night, and we were at like a killer glassing spot. Like that was the best glassing knob. We went the entire trip.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
we were
awesome.
like 9,500 feet up there. No bears, which was pretty disappointing because we thought we were going to see them, and we could see everything.
Yeah.
No bear. Next morning, after getting snowed and sleeted on, which was super cool, that was kind of rad. So I just want to talk for a second about where we were camping. Where we camped was like at the peak, like feasibly the highest spot we could hike to while still being reasonable about bear hunting. If we went any higher, we'd be looking for mountain goats and sheep. And hike all the way up to this like beautiful spot. The scene was just like amazing. Like still my favorite camping spot of the trip. And we could see into basically 3 different basins. So we could see back where we came from. We could see north of us, just a little bit. And we could see the entire river upstream of us and across the canyon, which is where the bear we were looking for was. So the next morning we're glassing, pick the bear back up again. It's like maybe 7. It wasn't super late into the morning. The sun was still relatively low.
Mm-hmm.
But spot that bear. we're like, all right, wait, let's go get it. We put together a game plan.
Yeah,
Went,
because what
uh,
we were like, we were about a mile from the bear, maybe not quite that far. Maybe we were like 1,200 yards.
I think it was
Um,
I think it was 1,200 from where we were.
yeah, and it was across a big canyon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So yeah, so we had to drop down and get close to it.
yeah. To get to somewhere that we could shoot from was
Hmm.
probably at least a mile. Um, so, and we had already done that hike twice with the bear, and I am not a fan of snowpack in the springtime. Um, that was, it's probably because I'm tall and my pack and everything and my weight is kind of higher. So when I punch through the snow, there's a lot of weight that gets flown forward. So every time I punch through the snow and I fall through, like all of my weight gets thrown forward. So it's constantly pushing all my weight back, including whatever's in my pack. So fighting, like I lose a lot of energy going through the snow. And I
Sucks.
knew that we would be doing that again. So we did it early in the morning, which was a good idea. And
Yeah,
went over it while it was still frozen. And that was a good decision. Bomb down there, get to the other side, and it was probably like around 10, right? By the time we got over there.
yeah, it probably was. And this whole time, this bear was bedding, and we actually like could watch it most of the way to where we were going to. You know, we yeah, so we like kept tabs on it pretty good, and
Yeah.
and Riley stayed up top and just watched it just in case it moved off somewhere that we couldn't see it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, keep going on it.
Yeah. So we get over there. We dropped down this one ridge, and we got to 500 yards, like on the dot. And probably could have shot from there, but it just would have been setting the pack up down the hill with my buddy up the hill trying to shoot across the canyon. It was like I wasn't really a fan. And I'm like, I don't know. And then the bear gets up and starts walking, and we're like, kind of got caught with our pants around our legs because we're like, what are we gonna do? Like, we better find a spot to shoot because this bear is moving really quick. So we run over, get everything set up, and finally get set up, and we're at 491 yards. And this bear is cruising. Like that bear went like 100 yards in like not even a minute or two. Just blew straight across this hillside. So get everything set up, get the big camera set. I get on the bear, and the bear finally stops. And you're still there.
Yeah, I still good. We're still good.
Okay, all right. You're frozen, but that's all right.
Okay.
Um, the bear finally stops, like just as it's about to go out of view, and it's scratching itself against a tree. I'm like, okay, like this is it, perfect spot. So it's rubbing itself up against a tree, like getting an itch or something on its back. And we had a little bit of wind, so I held it. I held it maybe about a foot and a half back, um, and had already dialed the rifle right, so elevation was good, but held it pretty far back, and you know, just nice and easy pulled the trigger, and could watch that vapor trail all the way over and just falls right in. This perfect shot. Um, you know, lost a little bit of meat. The shot was just a hair into the shoulders, and it blew. Kind of went through both shoulders, and instantly killed the bear. Just like a sack of potatoes, just hit the ground and rolled down the mountain. So I mean, shot wise was just I was really happy with that. That was the farthest shot I've taken, and successfully hit. So I was pretty psyched with that. Because when I shot it, like I could still see the bear on the scope. And when it hit, like the bear just disappeared. And I was like, did I hit the bear or did I miss and did it run? Like, I couldn't quite see because I was zoomed in pretty far on the scope. And you're like, oh, he dropped down. Like he's down. He's going down. So that was sweet.
Yeah, he
But
just
then we
like
had,
dumped so fast.
yeah, that was perfect. Yeah, but then we had like, it took us over 2 hours to get over to the bear. I mean,
Yeah.
the hike to the river was not bad, but the other side of the river where this bear was at was just super steep. I mean, I almost think that side was steeper than where we shot the bear on Monday. Hike up there and took us a minute to find the bear because there's these like big, huge cliffs that cliff out, and you'd have this big scree field and then this cliff face that would come up and then kind of tabletop off, and then another one over here. So we're working our way around those through the scree field and finally get up there, find the bear, and get down to it. And yeah, it was that was my last tag. So 2 tags filled, which was a big goal of mine this trip, was to fill 2 tags. So to be able to do that was pretty epic.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, dude, like not a lot of people try really hard to kill one bear. And if you like I've had years I've killed 2 bears, and you just had this year that you killed 2 bears, and so it's possible we do it,
Mhm.
and we give ourselves enough time to do it, but it's still like if you have a good spot that you could bear hunt, like you can get it done.
Yeah,
And it's not like it's tough and you got to put in the work, but it's definitely possible.
yeah. And you might not like. Obviously, I was not picky at all this trip about size of bear.
Yeah.
So if I was being picky, I probably wouldn't have shot any bears this trip, because we just didn't. We saw your bear was a good bear, and then Riley's bear was a good bear, and I'm more than happy with both of them. But my 2 bears, are just not big bears. They're maybe
It's true.
100, 120 pounds, which is fine with me. But some guys, they're not going to want to shoot 120-pound bears, which is fine. So that's the other thing too, is like you can have 2 bears that are maybe smaller in size, or maybe you'll just shoot one or none that are 200-plus-pound bears. Which for me, I'll take the 220-pounders.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the goal now, right? Now you have something to look forward to, push towards next year.
Yeah,
Finding a big boar.
yeah,
Um,
and maybe another state or something, or maybe a different spot.
yeah,
So
for sure. I've actually kind of noticed just recently that I've seen uh some bigger boars get killed later in the year. So
mhm.
like right now it's like mid to late May. Like I'm seeing a few stud bears get killed right now,
Yeah,
versus earlier. I think that they're still out. I think it's just different times of year. You're just gonna it's just maybe right now they're moving around more. I don't know what it is, honestly.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's
I have to
interesting.
agree with you. It seems like the last week and the week before, I've seen some photos of some pretty good bears, especially coming out of northern Idaho and Montana,
Yeah.
like that the Panhandle area up there. There's some really nice bears coming out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see what we end up doing next year. Because we're talking about trying some new spots, just kind of for the heck of it, and just seeing if we can find some new areas and find some more bears. So we'll make a game plan for what next year brings. But
Mhm.
I'm excited. Um, cool, dude. So that was fun. We both have deer tag, the same deer tag this year, which is going to be pretty fun. Um, so we both went on this hunt last year. I had a deer tag, and you were filming me, and that's where I killed my archery buck. So the film's out if anyone wants to watch it, and Jamin filmed most of that hunt. Um, are you? What are you thinking about this year? Are you pretty stoked to have the tag?
I'm excited, and honestly, I'm a little like, and not about the hunt, more so about planning. I am like a little bit nervous because like there's a lot going on this year. So I
Yeah.
don't know how I'm gonna fit it in, but it's gonna get in there.
Oh yeah.
Just don't know how yet.
We're
So
gonna make it work because we're gonna get you out there. But
yeah, that's a good problem to have, I guess. But
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be tight, but we're gonna make it happen.
that is something that like uh when you're trying to make a living filming hunts, it's like it's hard to take time for yourself and go on your own hunts
Mhm.
because you might like I don't know. I feel like in your position and people who are just like strictly camera guys, like you can make a little bit of money going on your own hunts and getting content and stuff, but it's a lot different because you're not like that forward facing person who has the influence and has the face, right? Like
Mhm.
you're the camera guy and freaking dude, you do a good job at it and there's a reason people are hiring you for it. Um, but it's hard to take off your own time. Do you feel that?
This year in particular,
Yeah.
it's coming in pretty strong. I felt it a little bit last year for sure. But this year, um, between um, what I have going on for filming projects this year coming up, and then just responsibilities I have, with the other things that are part of my life, um, it leaves like very small amount of time that I have to put towards these hunts. And, you know, it's this industry and job is definitely, it is a dream job for anybody to be in. Um, but the reality is it is a very small part of the year. So you need to use your time wisely. And for me, like my time is not going to be spent being, like you mentioned, like being the YouTuber or being the TV show host or whatever. That's not my goal. I want to be the guy behind the camera. So to do that, where you got to be behind the camera. So, um, yeah, that's hitting hard this year.
Yeah. I think it'll be good though because you got some sweet hunts planned out with some good guys. The ones that I know of at least, and it sounds like there's some cool adventures that you're gonna get to go on um this year,
Yeah,
which will be cool
yeah,
as well.
we've got some sweet stuff. So I won't
Yeah,
go into like any crazy detail yet. I'll let everybody find out as they come up. But I'll be in Utah more than once this year. Um, I'll be in Wyoming, probably Montana, Oregon, Texas, um, the Northeast, obviously. So, and
yeah,
then potentially down in Pennsylvania, and yeah, we've got quite a bit of stuff.
nice.
So,
That's gonna be fun. It's gonna be way cool. But I'm excited for our hunt for mule deer because have
yeah,
you killed any mule deer? Have you killed a mule deer? Yeah,
never, no, only
dang dude, if
filmed.
you get your first one with the bow, that'd be sick.
Yeah,
That'd be way cool.
yeah, I'm excited for it.
Hopefully we can do it. I mean, we saw plenty of deer last year. It's just like,
Yeah,
and we even had more days planned to hunt, but where like we could have stayed more days
mhm.
and just kept hunting. Um, so if we have enough time this year and we plan it right, it won't be hard. I mean, yeah, it'll be hard.
Oh,
It's never not
yeah,
hard, but we could get it done on $2.
yeah.
So it'll be
It's gonna be
fun.
hard, but fun. Well, hard and fun.
Hard
Those go
and fun.
together.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
go together in this life a little bit. So
Sometimes,
it's
definitely in our lives.
yeah. I mean, that's the reality. You wanna be successful and go out and fill your tag. You're gonna go put some miles down, and you know, you have to go where other people won't. You know,
Yeah.
so we did that last year. We'll do it again this year. From what we hear, there might be more people in there, but that's okay. We'll just try harder.
Yeah,
We'll just out hunt them.
for sure. Yep. And you brought something up where it's like we're out there to do whatever it takes to get it done. Like we're not taking days off or whatever. Like we're there to kill, and that's the goal, right? So when we're out there, we work hard enough and you make it happen.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Work hard. We enjoy it, and work smart too. You know,
For sure.
that's I think that's the other important part of it is you got to be smart about how you, whether you're inexperienced or experienced, it doesn't really matter. You can still have a world of experience and not listen to it. So, um, just doing it, combining the work hard and work smart, I think is really important. And everybody knows for mule deer that you got to. I mean, I've never hunted mule deer other than filming them, and that's the reality of mule deer is even maybe more so than whitetails. Um, they're you got to hunt them up really smart, and you might only have one shot at a stock or one opportunity to put an arrow in one. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. Let's jump into some listener questions. I posted a Q&A on my story just the other day, just seeing if anyone had questions about hunting and content creation. And I got a few that I know that you have some experience with, so I thought it'd be cool to give both of our kind of insights on these. Um, and a lot of them relate actually to, or a couple of these relate to the film that we did for Mule Deer last year. So the first one is POV action cams. Are they worth it or are they not reliable? If so, for what? Like interviews or second angle. So if you've watched the film from last year, the mule deer hunt, um, I was using a GoPro quite a bit when we were doing stalks. Um, and we were pairing up the GoPro with cross the canyon footage. Jamin was on a 1 to 500 long lens, so we are kind of getting both angles that way. Um, when it comes to archery hunts specifically, like, and especially if you're trying to self film, like you have to have some sort of POV camera, a GoPro camera, because you can't. It's. I mean, you can set up a camera behind you on a tripod or something if you're stalking in, but if you don't have that GoPro rolling on top, you're just not going to capture everything. So, in my opinion, if you're on an archery hunt, that POV cam is is critical and it's awesome. You get some cool footage when you're stalking with a bow.
Mhm.
You can have a camera guy behind you, and we might even try that out about maybe this year because we've talked about doing it before, and it can work, but it's just two more. It's just another person that you're trying to sneak in to bow range on a deer, and so sometimes it's almost just not worth risking that. Um, but you can get some sweet shots doing that too if you do it right and you have a good cameraman who's sneaky enough and can come in behind you, even if he's 50 to 100 yards behind you and still get a sweet shot. Um, I think that the POV action cams can be great. Now on rifle hunts, I like don't really ever use them. Um, so I don't know that I would say you need them for a rifle hunt, but they're uh, but some of those action cameras today are like super sick, and you can buy like kits for them with microphones and like windbreakers and like sweet stuff that you could pretty much film a whole hunt on one of those cameras without even buying a full camera setup, and I think it would actually turn out really good. What do you think?
You already know my stance on these. I think they have their place. In my hands, no. If I'm there to film somebody's hunt, they can use the action cam. They can keep it on their bow, on their backpack. That's for the hunter. Um, it's cool seeing a second angle of the camera guy with it, but like I know Luke, he sometimes has the GoPro mounted like on his chest when he's filming. That's cool for like his own channel and like his YouTube or Instagram reels and stuff. Cool. When it comes to actual production and creating a film, I do not want to see it. I don't want, I'm not going to produce anything that's got a GoPro attached to me in a hunt.
Sure.
Um, my goal when I'm going out and filming, right? Each hunt is a documentary. Like uh, I'm documenting this trip, and that's what it is. It's a docu film, essentially. Whether guys like it or not, like that's what it is. Some guys are like, oh, they're hunting films, or like, no, you're making a documentary of your hunt. Like, so start viewing it like that. Like, start viewing your trips and what you're doing as that. When you go watch a film about a documentary about somebody's life, you're drawn in because of the cinematography and the storytelling and how the story is put together. And it's the same thing for a hunt. You need that storytelling and the cinematography and that beautiful transition throughout the whole film. So, and I feel the action cameras take away from that. Um, you can use them in very small amounts, maybe in like an action scene. You want to throw in a clip of a wide angle, some weird spot, of like 2 seconds of like something neat, cool. But 99% of everything I do, I film without action cameras. Um, I don't really like them. I don't know. The new DJI 4 that just came out a little bit ago. That's the only one that I've like looked at and was like, maybe I'll buy that for this upcoming season. That was kind of a interesting camera. There's some pretty sweet specs that are coming out of that are geared more towards having that be a third angle for cinematography and that more style. Like it's got instead of having like a GoPro, like GoPro's what do they call that? What's the GoPro color profile they have? Like,
I don't know what the color profile is, but
yeah, it's like it's kind of I don't really like it very much. But that new DJI has like it can film on Rec 709, I think, or one of those formats, um, which is pretty rad. But yeah, for the most part, I'm not going to use them.
yeah, yeah. So there you go. It's like and I agree. If I'm filming someone else's hunt, I'm not going to use it either. But when it comes to like filming personal hunts and getting some of those types of shots, I think that they're useful
Mm-hmm.
certain times. So
Yeah.
yeah, sweet.
Just the last
Um,
point on that, though,
sure, yeah, go
before we
for
move on. So the Outdoor Boys, I'm sure everybody saw that
it.
he's retiring.
Yep.
Look at the channel that he built using cameras just like that. So it's really about what your goal is and how you're going to produce your videos. So if you're looking to do that vlogging style, those might be great. But if you want to do maybe more storytelling and more videography and kind of get into that side of things, probably avoid it so you can learn how to use, your camera in a way that lends more to that avenue.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Sweet. Um, okay, so next one, we'll finish up with this one. I got a couple questions about this, and it's like, if you could use one lens for filming, what's the lens? Doesn't matter the company, the brand of the lens, it doesn't like whatever price, what's one lens? And the person who wrote one of these questions is like, if you're filming for a client, what's the one lens, and then is it different if you're self filming? I know you don't do a ton of self filming, but what's like the one lens that's in your kit that you love the most?
So the lens that I love the most is not the answer to this question. But I'll
Okay.
start with the answer to the question.
Okay.
So if there's one lens that I can only bring one lens, it's going to be that still gives me the image quality that I am fine with, that I'll accept, is the 24 to 105. That's the best quality that you can get out of the lens for range. I don't have it yet, but the 24 to 105 2.8 would be amazing to use. But right now I've just got the 24 to 105 f4, which is fine. But that would be the lens. My favorite lens is probably the 70 to 200. The versatility of that is just unmatched, in my opinion. You can just get some absolutely stunning shots with that. It's just barely wide enough to get landscapes, and obviously you've got plenty of reach to zoom in. But yeah, some of my favorite shots have come out of the 70 to 200 because of that compression. Particularly at 70 to 90 millimeter, right in that range is just, that's my favorite.
Nice. Yeah, I'd agree with you on the one lens. That 24 to 105 is pretty rad. And I have that f4 version as well. I don't I don't have the 2.8, but freaking that's pretty sweet. I've used it before on a hunt. I borrowed it from a guy that I was filming for, and it was super rad. I will say it's a little bit bigger and heavier, and if you were trying to self film, I don't know if it would be the answer because it's a bigger, longer lens. It's just harder to hold. Um, but if you're trying to film other people and you're doing client films, I think that's probably the money lens to have is that 24 to 105
Yeah, if you're
2.8.
just, especially if you're just starting out, if you're just looking to start
Oh
and
yeah.
you're doing it, you're trying to be pretty affordable for clients. That's an affordable lens for you. Plus, it gets you the quality you need.
Yep. And if you plan it right, you could pay off that lens in like 2 or 3 client hunts pretty easily. In fact, you could probably pay it off in one if depending on the deliverables and how good you are and all that stuff. But anyways,
Yeah.
for self filming, 24 to 105 f4, awesome lens. I love it. Sometimes it might be nice to have a little bit wider, but I don't really find that I feel like I need it a ton.
Mhm.
Because that lens just has so much versatility. So cool. Well, cool, dude. I appreciate you hopping on and going through everything. Giving some value to people. That's perfect. Um, we will definitely run this back again after our deer hunt in August, and probably maybe we'll try and record an episode before or on the hunt as well, just depending on how the time goes. But
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to talk to you about it later, but it might not be till a little after our hunt. But
yeah, you got a lot going on, so I know you're busy, but we'll make it happen one way or another.
mhm.
But cool, dude. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Okay, we'll see everyone next week.